I'm sure everyone here already knows, but in case you do not, there is a new, huge, massive update coming to Sea of Thieves. They released a trailer over the E3 weekend, and they just released at the Xbox Extended Showcase a new gameplay trailer, which revealed more of what the new content would actually look like. We're gonna watch it through once, and then we'll go back through and pick out what we think things mean, because that's what the cool kids do, and we want to be cool kids. Let's do it. Here we go.
You will always remember this is the day your crew was joined by Captain Jack Sparrow. To the Sea of Thieves. Quick as you like. Chop, chop.
Chop, chop.
It's time to bridge the worlds and take our rightful places as lords of the sea.
Now we have awoken, and we are hungry.
Perhaps they'll take me on the grand tour of me fallen kingdom.
I was starting to think you'd taken a tumble. Not everyone's as steady on their feet as I am. This is the first place I've found where everyone appreciates my uniqueness. They're coming aboard!
So excited to see how these enemies interact.
Off me.
I hope they have new fighting styles. I'm really hoping that adds another...
destroyed, and I
Probably won't.
shall oblige him.
But
What is that infernal noise?
That's Captain Infernal Noise to you, mate.
Sparrow!
and Davy Jones looks like he's a Sky event, which is absurd. These mermaids have a shield and look like they need to be destroyed by ships, which is crazy.
Hear me, my daughter.
I want a giant gem.
More than
They better give us a giant
me.
gem. And we see the Kraken's face, which the other day I learned
Everything's
I thought
true.
was for
It's
the
not
first
true.
time.
Unless it's flattering, in which case it's all true, but they left out the best bits. Savvy?
The savvy. Do you have any first thoughts upon seeing that?
My first thought when I saw it was like, I'm excited because I feel like I've reached a little bit of a plateau with this game a little bit, mostly because I got to like the 8 million mark and got those Dark Adventurer sales. And so like, you know, doing that stuff is like just getting money is exciting, but less exciting. And so I'm excited to like get reinvigorated, you know, like
Yeah, for sure.
re-inspired with new content.
I agree. Over these past couple of weeks, I have been lucky enough where I've been playing the game enough where I just I've like been hitting the highest level in like a bunch of the factions and stuff. And while there's a bunch of commendations and I still have to get through all the tall tales a bunch of times to get the gold curse and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel the same. I feel like I've started hitting a plateau with what I can do, and so I'm super pumped to see the new content introduce hopefully some new levels of gameplay. New styles of gameplay. Yes, slap me with that voodoo staff and give me some spells. That would be sick. I'm hoping there's maybe a new faction introduced. Maybe there's a mermaid faction. I don't know if that'll be the case, but maybe if not with this update, hopefully it'll lead down the line to a new faction that you can work for potentially.
Totally.
Would be really cool.
The other thing that I just realized as we're talking about this that we have not seen in any of these teasers, unless I'm mistaken, is Duke. Duke has not been featured, and Duke has
Very interesting.
Duke has been leading us towards the mermaids for like
That's true.
months now.
That's a really interesting point.
So I'm wondering if Duke is Captain Jack Sparrow.
Duke was Jack the whole time? All right, that's a hot take from Manta here.
Hot take.
You heard it here first. If Duke is Jack Sparrow, then that's then it was revealed here first. This is where you get your reveals.
More likely because it seemed like I heard people talking about like Captain Duke Sparrow. Yeah. What if he's gonna turn into a mermaid? I don't know. From what I know of Sea of Thieves lore with Duke, is that he's been a beloved NPC for a while. So I doubt that they'd like completely change him. That being said,
Yeah.
there is a chance that maybe he got stuck in a tall tale and we have to rescue him, or like
Yeah,
He's
it's possible
been
that
captured
he's
by mermaids or something.
Yeah,
like
I
sirens,
think
like
it's
you were saying.
likely. I think it's likely that he's captured, and as part of like doing the Tall Tales, we need to save the Sea of Thieves and also Duke.
Yeah. Something like that. I could see that happening.
I could absolutely see that happening for sure. Imagine if Jack was just for the trailer. That'd be so sad. I think everyone would be real pissed.
Please remember.
But let's take a look through this again and see. I'm gonna turn down the volume here a little bit, so we can sort of see.
This is the
We'll
day your
pause it a
crew
few moments.
was joined.
Okay, so the first thing we come in on is, I think this is Golden Sands outpost, and already you can see my mouse, right?
Oh,
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Already
Totally.
we see this new building here, right?
I didn't even notice that. That's awesome.
And then if we keep watching, we go in.
Captain.
Presumably this is the same building we just saw in the
Yeah.
outpost. And if you look behind Jack here, the structure and the pieces that we're seeing look like the pieces that are like scattered about at different outposts, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
have that same sort of arch shape, that sort of hut, slightly curved circular shape. So I'm going to assume that's where we start these Tall Tales. Honestly, I kind of wish that Jack wasn't just at all the outposts. I kind of wish you had to go to like whatever that portal was or something, or like to the ferry, or I wish there was like a unique spot to start it, but
Well,
It is
that's
what it is.
interesting too, because I feel like, I mean, it's canon
Sea
in
of
the
Thieves.
Pirates universe,
Look
at
at-
least in the third one, when you're like, I mean, spoiler alerts, but like there's multiple Jacks because it's like in his mind or whatever, and he's like in purgatory. But I also feel like you're right. I think it's more likely that there is one Jack. Like maybe the Tall Tale, to start the Jack Tall Tale is at Golden Sands, and he comes out of the hut. He might not be at every hut at every place.
oh yeah,
You
maybe
see, different characters at different places, or
that could be, yeah, because they do show off Gibbs and
Yep.
the Oracle,
Yeah.
So there's definitely different characters that we probably talk to. That's a good point. That would be really cool if you start at Golden Sands and then there's different people, or like he's only at whatever hut you are at in the order of the Tall Tales or something. As I paused it on the screen, I didn't notice this the first time I watched the trailer, but what we're seeing here is they are on the Sea of Thieves and Jack is on the boat, but in ghost form.
Yeah, very ghouly.
Very ghouly. So I know they're playing a lot with like the difference between the Sea of Thieves and the Sea of the Damned here, and I know we're going to be kind of going back and forth based on I presume, I don't know, but I presume based on the footage they've shown us that we're going to be going back and forth between those two worlds, and some of the stuff they've shown us is in the Sea of Thieves and some is in the Sea of the Damned. Yeah, so this is interesting because I think this is the first time in the footage that we've actually seen Ghost Jack Sparrow. But there's obviously been talk of like him being trapped in the Sea of the Damned. So it makes sense that he's a ghost, I guess. Yeah. So we cut from Ghost Jack on the ship to this ghost portal. I'm assuming, and I know we've talked about this a little bit already, but I'm assuming that this portal, this rock formation, will be the only new addition to the actual Sea of Thieves. That's my guess. Outside of like the buildings on the outposts, my guess is that this will be the only actual like landmass that is added to the Sea of Thieves, and that this portal will take us to the Sea of the Damned, which will be a whole new section of map potentially, or maybe it'll take us to instances of the Tall Tales.
Is
That's
this
my
rock
guess.
formation in the Sea of Thieves already, or is it
See,
not?
that's what I don't know. That's what I'm not sure. It does look very similar to some of the rock formations.
Yeah.
The other night, I was playing with Badger and Panda off stream, and we passed by. There's a rock formation that sort of looks like this near Reapers, I think, or near the Fort of the Damned. And I would be curious. Let's keep our eyes out today as we're sailing to see if we see any rock formations like this, because it is possible they could just use a rock formation that already is there.
Yeah, and then just add that portal. Yeah.
But also, there's a lot of like empty space to add things, so they could easily add another rock formation to make this happen.
You know what's interesting? If that's true, Nip, where like let's say you had to activate a Tall Tale to make that area spawn, it'd be that would be another like Shroud Breaker getaway for for people who are trying to get away from ships chasing them. You just like have the Tall Tale on you.
You just peace out into the Sea of the
lap it
Damned.
down, and then you go into the Sea of the Damned, and they can't follow you unless they have the Tall Tale.
That would be insane. As cool as it would be to be able to like sail around a new map in the Sea of the Damned, I do feel like that might not be the case. I feel like this portal might take us just to instances for the specific tall tales. That said, I really hope it could take us to the Sea of the Damned and we could sail around. Even if it was just a small map, I think that'd be so dope. Beef is saying, I reckon it's a portal to the world of POTC tall tales. Yeah, yep, it's not. Oh, are you saying it's not already on the map, Beef? Looks like another big rock to hit. Yes, we love hitting rocks. We're pros here at hitting rocks.
Baby.
It's time to
Two
bridge
worlds
the
collide.
worlds.
The rock isn't in the world at the moment. Okay. Beef saying the rock is not in the world at the moment.
Gotcha. Got it.
And take our
So the next shot we see here is on the Ferry of the Damned. The ferryman, you can see the ferryman is in fact helming the ship. This might be a cutscene, not sure. The sea is green though, so I'm assuming we're actually on the Ferry of the on the Sea of the Damned in this shot. And the freaking hatch explodes,
Yeah.
which gives us, presumably, gives us access to the belly of the ship. So we can assume that we're going to be sailing on the Ferry of the Damned and getting access to some of the cannons and supplies and fighting with the ferryman, presumably.
Yeah. Well, and does that mean that does Davy Jones just live in the belly? Like, is he just renting out a space inside of the Ferry of the Damned?
Yeah,
That way he lives.
he's just got a storage unit for his organ.
Yeah.
Beef is saying it does look similar to the one at Sea Dogs. That's the Ferry of the Damned. Look at the cannons. That would be, yeah, it would be so cool if we could sail on the Ferry of the Damned. They made it vague in the first trailer where you had to like really look to see that the bowsprit was disconnected, but in this shot it's very obviously the Ferry of the Damned. And I know we have some suspicions that the Ferry of the Damned is eventually going to come to the Sea of Thieves to fight off Davy Jones, presumably.
Now
Which
we
I
have
love
awoken.
Davy Jones. What are we seeing down here? Is this just random pirate? I think that's just random pirate.
Random pirate.
Not sure. Oh, we're seeing... Ooh, I didn't notice this before. Look at these mermaid glyphs over here.
Ooh.
Not sure what those mean, but presumably that will... It looks like it's telling us something about maybe that scepter and some kind of... This conch shell here. It's giving us some kind of clue as to how to activate some kind of new mermaid puzzle, perchance.
Yeah, definitely feels like Tall Tale vibes.
Ooh, runes. Yeah, very, very much Tall Tale vibes. Yeah, we've got a person here looking at a book. It's very, definitely Tall Tale-y. Fun fact that maybe people already know, but I didn't know. It was revealed to me that apparently the 4 pirates that you see running around as the replacements for us, the players, in these trailers are the same 4 pirates that they had in the Shores of Gold trailer back when that was released in like 2018 or 19 or something. So they're using like those same character models, which I just thought was a fun thing to know.
Yeah, very cool.
One of the right looks like the ones that take you back to your ship. Yes,
Yeah.
it does, for sure.
Yeah.
So definitely a tall tale checkpoint.
And we are hungry.
Definitely got that vibe. For
And then we
sure.
get some Kraken. We're in an aquarium where the Kraken lives. We come to visit the Kraken. That's gonna be super creepy as well. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything super crazy here, other than the Kraken.
Perhaps they'll take me.
Okay, so then we are... What does that say? The Last Stand? This is not a place in the world, right? This looks like the Sea of the Damned
No.
as well.
Yeah.
The Last Stand. Wait, isn't The Last Stand something from Pirates of the Caribbean? I think that's from maybe even the... Because I know some of this is particular to the... or specific to the ride in Disney as well.
Oh.
We've got this talking skull here. We've had people are claiming it's Barbossa. I don't think it's Barbossa. Beef, I know you keep telling me it sounds like Barbossa. I disagree with you. I appreciate your opinion, and it probably will be Barbossa, and you'll probably end up being right. But I disagree. I don't think it sounds like Barbossa, even if
I
it is
agree
him.
that it sounds similar to, but yeah, I think I'm with Nip on this one. That it's not similar enough that I think this is definitely.
Yeah, it could be. So this is where I'm going back and forth, because I've seen things. People have speculated that it is Flameheart Jr., who we haven't seen yet, but has been talked about in some of the other Tall Tales. I didn't realize I had so much to say about this.
Yeah.
I didn't think this was going to take this long. But I'm having fun. Hopefully everyone else is as well. The skull says,
Fallen kingdom.
Tour of my fallen kingdom. That's where it's throwing me off a little bit because, so, I don't know that Flameheart Jr. had a fallen kingdom. Maybe he thinks his father's kingdom should be his. I don't know what we find in the Sea of the Damned. I don't think any of us do, except for, like, Pirates of the Caribbean themed things.
Right.
I don't know that Barbossa, like, arguably he was maybe king of the pirates until Jack came along, so I guess you could argue that he had a kingdom, but I don't know if that quite fits either. So I guess we'll see. I don't really have any thoughts on this one. I guess it really depends on who that skull is. Looks similar to the village from the other trailer, running away fighting spirits. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm wondering, you know, we keep seeing the same island. I'm wondering if there's just one island. One big populated island on
right.
where we go to different parts of the island to interact with different parts of the Tall Tale, and then maybe go from there to like the coral reef. I'll also be really interested to see if the coral reef stuff happens in the Sea of Thieves or the Sea of the Damned, because the Sea of the Damned all has this like greenish hue to it, right? And this
well, it also the greenish hue also reminds me of the Fort of the Damned.
True.
Right? Like it's got
fair.
a similar vibe there.
For sure. Which probably is purposeful, presuming that, like, you know, that's where the ghost of Grey Marrow appears, right? So it's sort of like in that way, it's sort of like another portal from the Sea of the Damned to the Sea of Thieves.
Totally.
So that's a really interesting point as well, Manta. So I guess it'll be interesting. I brought that up to say that you don't see the greenish hue in any of the coral stuff. So maybe that's just because it's underwater and we go under the Sea of the Damned to go to the coral stuff, the mermaid realm. But it seems to me that the mermaid stuff will be in the Sea of Thieves, especially since we're seeing the crab people and the mermaids and all that stuff come to the actual Sea of Thieves itself. Yeah. So I'm hoping that the Sea of the Damned becomes a whole thing, as we can see it sort of is going to be a huge part of the Tall Tales, obviously. And then hopefully we have some more coral reef that we can access underwater. So even if we're not getting new islands, we're getting new underwater areas to access from the Sea of Thieves itself, hopefully.
Yeah. What would be cool is if like one of the Tall Tales you had to access was at that like mermaid statue on Mermaid's Hideaway. Like you had to like go underwater to like read the book or something.
Well, I wonder if Mermaid's Hideaway, that's another really good point. I wonder if Mermaid's Hideaway will play into this at all. You know, I wonder if that'll act as like a portal to further underground caverns, or I'm sure it's got to play a part in it in some way, I would imagine. Even if it's a small way.
Yeah. It's a perfect name for it. It's gotta do something.
Fair enough, you're better at picking up sounds than me. I don't know if I am. If you're entitled to your opinions. I just disagree with you. But to be fair though, they, you know, the Jack actor, while they are a very good impersonator, doesn't exactly sound like Johnny Depp either.
Yeah.
So it's very possible they just have a different actor doing trying to do Barbossa, and I don't think it sounds like him. That's
well, and I think
also
it's fair because it's Barbossa, and then also Johnny Depp and Keira Knightley are like the only major characters that we really haven't seen. They're probably the least piratey. Like they're the ones that you probably don't need to include. But like they're still major characters from that franchise, and they're not in this trailer, at least at present.
True. And surprising that not surprising, but notably they have included Gibbs over people like Barbossa.
Yes.
And you could argue that Barbossa and Will Turner and what is Keira Knightley's character's name?
Pretty sure it's Keira Knightley. Keira
Knightley, yeah. Oh, Beef is saying Elizabeth Swann, of course.
Elizabeth Swann.
I clearly need to watch these movies this weekend.
Yeah, I should do that too.
We're seeing a sunken ship. It's got a figurehead that might be recognizable to some people. It looks like a ghost ship, potentially, but it also looks like we're seeing some coral down here. So it looks... I can't tell if we're in the Sea of the Damned, if we're in the Sea of Thieves. Oh, Beef is saying it's the Black Pearl. That's why it's so familiar looking. Yes, that'll do it. See, this is how it's been so long since I've watched those movies. I really need to. I love them. I just clearly need to rewatch them. We're probably pulling in the Black Pearl. It looks like it's in ghost ship form, so I assume we'll have to, you know, bring it from Ghostland to real world or something like
I was
that.
starting to think you'd taken a tumble.
Ghostland.
Ghostland.
Ghostland, USA.
And then this just looks sick. We've got like clearly like some kraken bones and stuff we're walking on. Underwater in this coral cavern thing, this aquarium looking thing.
I wonder, do you think this might be a bridge too far, but I wonder if we could find new fish in this area?
Oh. Or maybe the mermaid
the-
protect the fish and attack you when you steal them from the seas.
Maybe you can catch a mermaid.
Mmm.
Maybe
Catch a
Duke
mermaid.
is a fish.
What if Duke is all of us? What if Duke has been us this whole time? What if we all
What
become
if
mermaids?
the real Duke wasn't the treasure, but the adventure along the way? Moving on. It's always funny. It's always funny.
The real treasure is the friendships we made along the way. Yes, yes.
The real treasure is the Duke.
The real yes, that we've got there. Excellent. Okay, so this is the one shot that makes me think maybe Beef is right. Maybe this is Barbossa. This pirate skeleton sitting on a mound of gold has very large Barbossa vibes coming from it for sure. And it's in a cave where we see, you know, Barbossa and his mound of treasure in the very first film. Except the treasure right there, yes. Captain Duke Treasure Sparrow. Great. Everything in the Sea of Thieves is just all one person. It's just all Duke. That's the answer. So it looks like this is obviously part of a tall tale as well. We've got some pirates doing some more parkour.
Steady on their feet as I...
New cosmetics, of course. We have to see the Black Pearl cosmetics, which I think I'm super pumped that it's all completely black, because those, while it'll look cool altogether, those pieces will work so well with so many other cosmetics in the game. It'll make
and it matches
designing,
that figurehead,
yeah, it does match the figurehead too. So definitely Black Pearl cosmetics, and
uniqueness.
obviously everyone in the land is going to be dressing as Jack Sparrow now.
Yeah. Did you see that meme? The like day one of the new content, and it was a picture from the third Pirates of the Caribbean movie where he's just on the ship with like himself like
and all of the other Jack Sparrows. Yeah.
It's just my crew on day one.
Just everyone. Everyone's like, yay, we get to be Jack Sparrow. That's all we've ever wanted. And of course, we've got a bunch of new emotes that are very like, I'm Jack Sparrow.
Do you think the dog holding keys is a dog you can get also?
Well, there's no, it's just sitting there. Like,
Sitting there, yeah.
I wonder do you think pets can't emote, right? You can't make your pets emote?
You can make them dance, but you can't
I know you
really
can make
them
them
emote.
It's got to be a new skin for your dog then. That just perpetually has keys. That poor dog. Beef is saying, I hope so. I want the dog. I think everybody does. What I really wish is that I wish you could, I'm sure this will just be a full-on costume, but I wish you could choose different pieces from his costume.
Sure.
You know, because I would love to just wear his hat, you know, or just the jacket or something. But alas, it's cool that you can. I'm sure there's like Disney reasons where they're like, no one can wear just a Jack Sparrow hat. You have to wear the whole thing. Anyways, let's move on. We've spent so much time talking about this. All right, we've got the crab people, which is the ocean crawlers, which I'm super excited to. Ooh, I didn't notice this one in the back here is spitting poison.
Ooh.
That's cool.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, so once again, we're seeing Jack fight some ocean crawlers, and we are on the Sea of the Damned. We see Davy Jones chasing us in the background, and we are, in fact, on the ferry. And we've also seen Davy Jones on the actual Sea of Thieves, so I wonder if Davy Jones starts in the Sea of the Damned and then escapes to the Sea of Thieves, and then we transition back there to sort of stop him from taking over the world or something.
Yeah.
It's definitely Ferryman versus Davy, Descript. I know I talked a little bit about how I was interested to see how they would, about how the Ferryman and Davy Jones would exist in the same world, because I had said that they kind of play the same role. And it would be interesting to see how they interact and how they make a cohesive environment out of these two different worlds. However, I was then watching some other stuff that made me realize, because people were talking about it, that that they actually play opposite roles, right? Because the ferryman, Davy Jones, takes people away forever, right? He ferries their souls to pirate paradise or wherever the afterlife is, and takes them away from the world, right? The ferryman returns us all to the Sea of the Thieves so we can be pirates forever, eternally, right? And so that plays really well in with the idea of Jack Sparrow looking for the Fountain of Youth and wanting to be a pirate forever and never die, right? And also that pits the ferryman and Davy Jones against each other because they're doing opposing things, right? So Davy Jones presumably is coming in to stop the ferryman from returning all of the souls to the Sea of Thieves because now Davy Jones has no souls to take care of, or something like that.
Yeah, interesting.
I think that's such a cool clash of interests, and it'll be so cool to see how the battle plays out between the two in these tall tales. Anyways, let's move on.
Keep your crusty claws off me!
See some more battle stuff. Here we're seeing a ghost ship fighting a little, looks like Port Royal or some kind of... some...
Wishes you destroy.
And we're fighting the Phantoms here a little bit, which will be really cool to see. At this new island in the Sea of the Damned, presumably. And then we see this mermaid, who is clearly like maybe some, not clearly, but like some kind of mermaid queen. Clearly has some kind of control over the Kraken, because later in the trailer she summons her daughter, and then we see the Kraken.
It could be a coincidence, though, right? Maybe
could be. It could have just been edited.
Comes down the hallway, and then the Kraken.
And she's like, "Hello,
hi,"
and then the Kraken attacks them, and we're like, "Oh shit!" That'd be hilarious. I don't think they've got so much new content coming that I doubt they changed any of the combat, but I do think, except maybe with the addition of the scepter, but I do feel like it's probably solely going to be available for the the tall tales. Tall tolls. Words are hard. I think with the addition of ocean crawlers and phantoms and the scepter, they could add a whole new element of gameplay to the hand-to-hand combat.
Yeah.
But I don't think they will. It would be cool. I don't think they will because, like I just said, they've got so many other things that they're bringing to the game. But it brings up opportunities for different styles of fighting, which could be cool in the future, maybe. I don't know. We'll see.
Start infernal noise!
And then we cut to Jack coming in to the coral area. It looks like this is a different ship entirely. Maybe a mermaid ship? We don't have the figurehead of the Black Pearl here. We don't have the disconnected bowsprit, so it's not the Ferry of the Damned either. So this looks like an entirely new ship, unless something has happened to the Black Pearl where it's just covered in coral. Maybe the coral is the figurehead. Interesting point, Beef. I think a lot of the locations are from the ride. Yeah, I've heard that a lot of the stuff is from the ride because, I mean, obviously the movies were inspired by the ride, so they've got all the lore from the world at large is coming into play here. Not all of it, but some of it. Did I hear the merms called sirens in the trailer? Yes, they are called sirens, so it'll be interesting to see. But they're clearly utilizing the mermaid statues in some way, so I'm curious if, like... I'm curious if sirens is just going to be, like, evil mermaids, right? Like, maybe something happened to the regular mermaids, and they're calling them sirens or something. Maybe... I still think they're all going to be part of the same underwater world, but like maybe some of them broke off and are like fighting. They're like, no, we won't teleport you back to your ship anymore. This is a union strike. Mermaids and sirens, are they talked about in Pirates of the Caribbean in the lore? I'm just thinking like maybe they're starting to call them sirens because of something in Pirates of the Caribbean. That could also be a possibility.
Yeah, could be.
But I'm not sure there.
To you, mate.
Wait, do we see anything on the ship here? No, it looks like the whole ship is covered in coral, though. So maybe this is just part of a tall tale. Maybe it's just a random sunken ship. Maybe it has nothing to do with anything. Obviously, it has something to do with something, but I'm saying maybe it's not even a ship that we ride upon. Maybe it's just a ship that's stuck in the coral reef. And then, of course, this is a huge reveal here. Davy Jones is floating in the sky like a MF'ing freaking Flameheart.
Well, and that island doesn't really look like an island in the Sea of Thieves underneath.
Oh, that's a really good point too. And we've got these big giant mermaid statues behind here with these shields. So I think it's very clear that we are definitely in the Sea of Thieves and not in the Sea of the Damned in this shot. That's a really good point, Manta. I guess it could presumably... no, I was going to say it could presumably be Arena Mountain, but it's not.
Yeah, there's too many other rocks next to Arena Mountain.
Yeah, and there's too many like additional things higher up, like platforms higher up that I don't think are on Arena Mountain either. Maybe we'll get a new thing for Davy Jones and like a new fort or something, and maybe a portal rock. You know, maybe we'll get a couple things new to the seas.
Yeah.
The actual Sea of Thieves as we know it. It's possible that something like this only appears during the tall tale. You know, it's possible something like rises out of the water in like an empty area of the sea potentially.
Which would be another really cool way to try to get Reapers off your tail if you could time it right.
If you could time it and just like disappear into an instance.
No, I mean like if an island comes up in the middle
and you
of the
use
Sea
them
of
to like
Thieves,
block it?
Yeah,
Use that as
like
a
push
shield?
them on top of the island.
They just get
Doubtful.
launched by it? Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Beef saying the island from the start of the other trailer, maybe. I don't remember the island from the start of the other trailer, honestly. Oh! Yeah, actually, no, could be. Could be. I'll be interested to see. So the fact that Davy Jones is a cloud in the sky, I wonder... Obviously, in the past, clouds in the sky have denoted world events. So it'll be really interesting to see if Davy Jones is part of a tall tale and a world event now, or if it's a world event that is activated as a result of a tall tale. That would be a new way to sort of do the gameplay. We are seeing these new style ghost ships too. So it's clear that there are some ghost ships that are associated with Davy Jones that are not actual like ships from the Sea of the Damned potentially, or associated with the Ferryman or something. And then obviously these mermaid statues are creating these giant shields. I'm presuming you can't hit them until I'm presuming you have to go close enough. Oh, actually, that's interesting. I didn't think about this until just now. I'm guessing you have to go close enough where you can get within the shield, so I'm assuming the mermaid statue will damage your ship like a mermaid statue damages your player now, so that you can't snipe them from a distance with the cannons. So that's probably what the shields are there for. All new magic coming to the seas. How exciting.
Destroy that statue.
Oh, well, actually, so... Well, interesting. Then I might be immediately incorrect. We see these pirates shooting at the shield. We don't see if the cannonballs go through the shield or not, though, so...
oh, you know what? Maybe the shield just prevents your ship from getting too close, so you'll have to hit it with cannons. Like, you can't just, like...
Oh, so maybe you have to
I don't know
take down the shield first, and maybe the shields are protecting the ghost ships, and they can shoot through it at you?
Maybe. I don't
Potentially?
know. Or just the shield is protecting the mermaid statue, and you can only hit it with cannons. So you have to hit it with cannons.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
But I don't know.
Also of note, in this shot, we do see Ghost Jack over here. I just noticed. Ghost Jack is manning one of these cannons. I know people have talked about him, Jack Sparrow, joining you on your adventures. It looks like from the gameplay trailer that we're actually going to have help from an NPC. Like, he's actually going to be doing things, potentially. Which is, I think, a first for Sea of Thieves. I don't think NPCs have ever helped you accomplish things as far as, like, actual fights and stuff in the past. So that'll be really interesting to see how that works.
And again, just a detail thing here, but the mast has been damaged, and they fixed it with a plank of wood. Like, they didn't have to include that in the trailer, but they did.
But they did. That's good eye. Good eye. That's so fun.
And there'll be that
Yeah, and once again we see it's definitely Ghost Jack confirmed on the Sea of Thieves shooting, and then oh, you know what? In this shot now we're seeing the statue fall apart, but it looks like the shield is still in fact there. So I'm wondering if it's not in fact actually a shield, or it might just be a radius where you get damaged from. You know, maybe you just need to stay out of that radius before you get damaged. It might act like the Red Sea or something.
Yeah,
You know, where it just damages your ship over time, potentially. Panda says, or like the OG Merm statues that damage you. Yeah. I think the OG Merm statues, it's going to be very similar to the OG Merm statues, where they probably incur damage. I'll be interested to see if it's to the players or to the ship, though, or both.
Enough of this. Hear me.
Okay, and then we see, oh, this is that same coral ship, actually, probably, that we saw Jack break through a wall on. That's like being raised up, maybe, or it's hung by chains in like this aquarium thing that we keep seeing. So it seems to be a prominent part of like, oh, and here's Kraken, here's Karen. It seems to be a prominent part of this coral world. So I'll be interested to see if this ship actually has a name, and if it's, oh, I'm sure we could see the name there if I could zoom in. It's probably going to be too enhance. Why doesn't it work? The sci-fi movies have led me astray. Ooh, good eye, Desecrypt. Only cannons on one side. Interesting. Let's go back and look at this little section again. Yeah, we're hanging in this coral cavern. The masts have all been shattered. Yeah, and we hear the presumably this mermaid queen calling her daughter, who just never shows, and then we see Karen instead. And then Karen's like, I'm here to wreck your day. Mermaid Queen plus Davy Jones equals Karen. Oh, do we think they had a wee little babe?
Hear me, my daughter. Come more than beast.
Okay, so it looks like we'll have... Okay, so it looks like we're using this coral ship's cannons that are only on the one side to shoot Karen in the face.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, Beef. As Karen spits... So it looks like we're going to have this big old boss battle, but it'll be very unique. You know, I don't think we've ever had an instance like this where we have... Usually the boss battles have either been on the seas, like or like on land with the combat that we're used to. And this looks like a very stationary battle. You know, it looks like... I mean, maybe there'll be different tiers of it. Maybe, you know, it's possible the ship breaks apart and we fight Karen in different areas. One where it's just Karen's face, one where she's in the sea, one where she's elsewhere, you know. Maybe we'll have different parts of that battle or something. But I'll also be interested to see if, like, Karen is part of the corruption, right? Because I think they're trying to get at, like, the ocean-dwelling creatures have been corrupted in some way, and that's why they're attacking. These mermaids that were our friends, bringing us back to ships, are now attacking us, or they have siren brethren that are attacking us. Karen has always attacked us, but never in this way, so it'll be interesting to see if this is just Karen being Karen, or if Karen has actually been corrupted in some way as part of the greater story. Karen spits her daughter out, and she's like, oh, hello! Ugh, don't mind my gunk. Hilarious. And that's it.
Whatever they've told you, it's not true.
It's true. Anything I've said just now.
Also,
your brains.
In which case,
you might have said this already,
left
but
out
the
the best
skull has Captain Jack's beard on it in the logo.
Oh, I didn't say that, but let's take a peek. Oh, it does. Is that how they do pirates? They have his whole little like medallion thing too. It's very Jack. Oh, and it's got barnacles. I love a good barnacle.
When I first saw it, I thought it was
are...
a body. I thought it was legs, and I was like, "Oh, is this just like a big skeleton head thing?" Nope.
Nope.
It's Jack.
It's Jack. I'm assuming these will be swords that we can acquire as well, and these both look super sick. Oh, is that Davy Jones? Oh, it's a ferryman sword and Davy Jones sword. Oh, sick, Beef. Oh, those would be super cool. Super cool.
Unless it's flattering.
And then once again, back to this hut, which I'm presuming is the manifestation of all those pieces we've been seeing lying around on the outposts. I am noticing a skull back here. I don't know if that's just decor, but it looks like it could have something to do with something. I know people were also guessing that these books lying around will just be a bunch of different tall tale opportunities, and that you'll go all to one place for all the tall tales. But we'll see if that is the case.
In which case, it's all true, but they left out the best bits. Savvy?
Indeedly-do.
Indeedly-do. And that's it. I am super jazzed for the 22nd. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be everlasting.